As a programmer, you're going to be dealing with a lot of data. Your apps may contain numbers or strings or images or videos. We can use what is called a constant to name and store these values. So, as the name suggests, constants are constant, meaning that once set, they cannot be changed. So, to create a constant, you're going to be starting with the word let. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a constant here, and we're going to say let. And you can see that it autocompletes and it says let Swift let declaration. And down here, it says creates a variable that cannot be changed. Okay, so that's exactly what we want to do. So we're going to be creating a constant called age. So let's say let age. And so this is going to be the name of my constant, right? Let age equal. And then I need to assign a value. Okay, and so the equal sign is what we use to assign a value to my property name. So let's say let age equal 27. Okay, let's go ahead and create another constant here, and let's say let color equal green. Okay, and whenever we want to create a string, remember that it needs to be wrapped in these double quotes here. Okay, so let color equal green. Now age, I didn't need to include the double quotes, right? Because 27 is an integer. Okay, so now we have an age and a color constant. And I want to give you a few guidelines when you're naming properties. Okay, so first off, remember that your property name cannot start with a number, right? So I couldn't say like let 7 age. Okay, that is against Swift syntax. Okay, so you can include numbers somewhere else within the property name, just as long as it doesn't start with a number. Okay, now rule number 2, you want to make sure that your property name is very descriptive, so that when you come back and read your code, or if you're working on a project with others, you can know what each property represents. So for our first constant, let's go ahead and change this to let my age. Okay, and for color, let's go ahead and say let my favorite color. Okay, so those are a bit more descriptive. Instead of just having a regular age property declaration, now I know that this 27 represents my age and that green represents my favorite color. Okay, so with these new names that I've given, I want to point out that proper Swift syntax, we use what is called camel case when we're giving a property name that is multiple words long, right? So my favorite color is 3 words, and we're using what's called camel case. Now, the compiler won't make you use camel case, but it makes your code much more readable. So for example, let's compare something like this. So what if I said let average score of all users, okay? Average score of all users equals 79 or something like that, okay? So the compiler is fine with this, but this is a bit hard to read, right? So if we use what's called camel case, the first letter of the first word is going to be lowercase, and then the first letter of every word thereafter is going to be uppercase. Okay, so I would change this to let average score of all users equal 82. Okay, and you can see that this line is much more readable than this, even though semantically they're exactly the same, right? So let's practice making a few more constants. So let's go ahead and create a constant for our first name and our last name and our birth year. Okay, so let's say let first name equal Johnny, let last name equal Hicks, let birth year equal 1991. Okay, so now that we have all of these named constants, we can use a print statement to print the values of each. Okay, so let's go ahead and print out our first name. Then we can print out our last name. And then we can print out our birth year. Okay, I'll run my code here. And you can see that it is properly printing out the values of each of those constants. Okay, so go ahead and create constants for your favorite food and your favorite color, and print those to the console. In the next video, we're going to be talking about how to create properties that can be changed.